Hey TJ,
Hi, Jen. What's up?
nothing. So I've been on Facebook and I see a lot of posts recently about how do I fire a client? Should I ever fire a client? And I think it's because people are like extra insane. Do you think that's true?
Yeah. I mean, I think we cling to business so much, like we we think that we have to put up with so much crap, and it's not good for us, guys. Do better, man.
Do better. So what do you have you ever had to, because you're really nice and I feel like you could get pushed until like your breaking point's pretty far away.
Yeah, too far. Yeah, so it took me. I went 2 years in business without firing a client, and then I fired a client, a listing client, which I
Oh wow.
never thought I'd do. Yeah, I really never believed I would fire a listing client. And then since then, I've probably fired like four. So I probably have five on my books, which I'm pretty proud of.
That's good. Have you ever been
Uh,
fired?
yes,
Yeah,
one time,
one time. That's
one time.
happening too. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's talk about you had initially said we think like we come from this like lack of business, so we think we have to put up. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So actually, and you won't remember this, but I do. So you and I had sat down about a little over 3 years ago. You had a bigger team at the time and you were looking for somebody to help with some extra buyers.
Hmm.
And we sat down and I was telling you about a shitty client and you're like, fire him. And I
Oh,
was like, yeah, I'll never forget it. I was
I
like, I
don't
don't do
do. I
that.
don't remember. You're right.
Yeah. And you're like, you said, then you don't have enough business. And I was like, ouch. Okay. I mean, you're right. You're so right. I liked you even after that meeting. But yeah, but that's it, right? Like when you have enough business, you have the right, you've earned the right to be freaking choosy, man. Don't get treated like crap.
You shouldn't be treated like crap anyway. And I think it's about to having your standards. But it is true that when you like are in this like lack mindset or this scarcity mindset, your standards reduce, right? And this is like everything in your life. I mean, you haven't been dating in a while, but like it's with dating too. It's like
Yeah.
you, whatever, right? So I think like it is having standards. So like what are your standards? Like it could be location, it could be price point. It definitely should be how you're treated. And part of that is it's hard to know how somebody's going to treat you until they treat you wrong, right? Or are there signs?
So, well, yeah, I'll answer the first part. So, I do have standards. So, I have geographical standards where there's places I just won't go because it's a time versus money decision.
Yeah.
I have price point standards, which I didn't have when I was new in the business. And I don't necessarily think you should have when you're new in the business. Like don't let price dictate business early on, in my opinion. But once you get to a certain point, you've got to weigh, could my time be better spent
Right.
on better business? And then yeah, I do think there are red flags, right? But I also think like you don't want to be so over the top where like any little thing runs you away,
Right.
because like sometimes those people end up being fine.
Right.
There's times like for me, it's like a gut feeling where I feel like, okay, this person doesn't respect me
Hmm.
or doesn't treat me well. And I'm just like, I'm not dealing with it. Like if you show up late more than twice,
Yeah.
I'll have the talk on number two, and then I've got to end it because like there's a lack of respect and that will carry on throughout the process. It won't go away.
You're right. So, how did you get the confidence to say, like, I mean, I imagine, I guess I want to talk about too, like, what are you saying when you have to have that tough conversation with somebody? But how did you get the confidence?
So, well, like I'm a pretty nice guy with clients. So it's rarely
You're nice
combative.
with
Like,
everyone.
yeah, I'm a pretty nice guy. So it's rarely like combative. Like I don't get in fights with people. What gets me is like I remember one big that the listing was overpriced. I took it overpriced, and that was error
You're
number
bad.
one. But again,
Yeah.
younger, right?
Right.
Um, took it overpriced. And it sat, and this guy would call me every, day, like, what's going on? Anything going on? And I would just be like, look, like the market's talking to us. We're high. We need to lower the price. He had a stepson that was living there that wouldn't leave for showings. Like it was all bad.
Hmm.
And finally I had like to come to Jesus, like, hey, this is make or break. We need to lower the price.
Right.
And he agreed to a $500 price drop.
Which percentage of what was the house worth?
I mean, like
It was like 1%.
160. Oh
Okay.
yeah, like 160. So, and not even. And I said to him, I was like, that's not what I had in mind. This isn't good. And he said, do you not think you can sell it? And I'll never forget, I paused and I said, I don't think I can. I don't think I can with the restrictions you're giving me. I think we should part ways. And dude, when I tell you, I left the conversation feeling 100 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
I really did. It ended up going with another agent for 98 days, selling at a price where I already got an offer for him early on.
Hmm.
But like, I would have hated myself. I would
Yeah.
have hated myself for
Yeah.
4 months,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
I agree with you. I think there is an opportunity though, like in that story, because I'm kind of the same way. Like it's it's fine until it's not. And if I'm stressed out about talking to you, or like it just doesn't feel like we're mutually beneficial to each other, it feels really hard, like really, really hard, then I would take that opportunity and refer them to somebody, because that way you could be like, hey, I can't, I've done everything that I could to sell this property, and it's not working based on the price that we had set for the home. So what I'd like to do is, and you edify the next person, right? Like, hey, what I'd like to do is like, this person has sold 10 in this neighborhood or whatever it is. Like, I
Yeah.
think they can
Yeah.
help you. Will you meet with them? And then that's like, because I've had to do that a couple of times too, right? And either I couldn't sell the property for whatever reason, or we just like, we're not getting along. But they usually do meet with them. And then that way you get paid a referral. Because it always
I,
comes
I
back to what
think
you
it's,
said. It always comes back to the original price
yeah.
that you had, like it always does.
Yeah. Yeah. I think especially if it's just price, right? Like
Right.
that is an awesome opportunity. This one, like when there's like a tenant that won't leave, that's where I'm like, I don't want to put this on somebody, man. But you're right. Like
People that are
somebody
good
will
at
take it.
that though. Like there are people
Right.
that are like better suited, like for different types of situations or different types
Yeah.
of like people. And I think it's okay as long as everybody knows going into it, like, hey, this is why I had a hard time. Like, but I think that you can
Yes.
handle it. Or, but if they're really bad, just
Yeah.
done, right?
And yes, I think also like you need to have a pretty good self-awareness. Like where am I weak where somebody else may be strong?
Right.
Like, yeah, I think that's a big piece. I don't know that a lot of people have that, but if you do,
We
like
can
I
help you.
know yeah, I'm not good with confrontation. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. But some people are really good at that. And like
Yeah.
this particular client would have really benefited from somebody that said, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
You hired me, trust me, but I didn't have the confidence at that point to say that.
No, I
So
think that's true. So it's like before taking, it begins before you take on a client and you say, you ask yourself, am I really the right person that can help this person get to where they want to go, where it feels like a good transaction? Because we all know in every transaction, even if it's smooth, there's still going to be a glitch. Always. Like,
yeah,
you can count on it, right?
yep,
So
yep,
it's like,
yeah,
I agree with you, like starting there and be like, is this even going to work? Should I even be taking this business? Does it make sense? Am I going to be excited to work on it? Step one, right?
yes, yeah. That's a great question to ask yourself. That's a really, really smart, because if you're not excited, like how are you going to have that emotion on them? How are you going to wake up every day and go knock
Right.
doors and do whatever you have to do? Yeah,
And
that's
and you're
wise.
not, for me, like if I'm not excited about it, then I don't think of, if I'm excited about something, like I get really creative with finding the right buyer. I'm excited to communicate with them. Like it feels more like we're doing it together. And that's what it is, right? Like we're selling your house together. But like if I'm not excited to do that, then I don't want to work with you. Like
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah,
awful. I'd rather drink
yeah.
coffee.
Yeah, and there's some people like you had said that like are experts in certain areas that you or I may feel very uncomfortable with.
Right.
Like use those resources, like find someone in your brokerage that's a killer. I
Yeah.
think that's really good advice. And then also like just have the confidence to like stand up for your business.
Yeah,
'Cause,
exactly. Yeah. So
like,
what are your standards? What do you have in place? Yeah. And if you're not sure, why don't look at what you've done, what you've sold this year, and really circle the ones that you were super excited about, and those are your standards. And the ones and also like cross off the ones that you hated and just don't do it again. Right? Like why
yeah,
did you
that's
hate
good.
it? You know?
Yeah. And that can also be like, that's not always like inexpensive listings. Like some people don't
Yeah.
like $1 million listings. Like they don't like, they sit longer.
Yeah.
The client base can be different. Like those are where you've got to get honest with yourself. Like, where do you thrive?
Right.
And then make money on a referral. Like you can make a lot of money referring out expensive business. So
Exactly,
I love that.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if you do like kind of like certain neighborhoods where the prices are lower, maybe you consider adjusting your commission and say this is what I charge, so that it does make you're the right person to help them, but it also doesn't leave you poor or does, you know what I mean? Like where you don't have to go to their house
Yeah.
and dinner. Like you can get your own
Yeah.
dinner, you know?
Yeah. That's good. You
Cool.
do enough business. Just do enough business where you don't have to take shit.
Generate so you don't have to tolerate, baby.
You got
You
it.
know.
I love it.
Well, TJ, if people have a referral for you in Cincinnati or Dayton, you doing Kentucky now? Sort of.
No,
No, not
I
yet.
give it to you. I send it to you,
No.
Jen.
What is the best way to get a hold of you?
Just a text or a phone call, 513-379-2000.
Super. Thanks, TJ.
Thanks, Jen. Have a good day.